So the 2023 NFL season is officially underway, and while we've already had the kickoff game this past Thursday, we still have several other games, several other teams that have yet to play this coming Sunday, this coming Monday, and that includes the faithful, the red and gold, my San Francisco 49ers. And that's what we're here to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, because we are officially about to be underway with another red and gold San Francisco 49ers season. And as they prepare for week 1 of their 2023 season, kicking it off in the Steel City against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, after months of this and that, Brock Purdy this, Trey Lance that, all this build-up and hype. Here we go, or maybe disappointment. Here we go, week 1, all that talk, all that speculation. Is this going to happen? Is that going to happen? Week 1, regular season, 2023. It all begins in the Steel City in Pittsburgh. So, before we can even talk about this game, we'll, as I did in my season previews for both these teams, we have to talk about what happened in the season prior, just very briefly. So, for my 49ers, they went 13-4. They won the NFC West, but as I mentioned in my season previews, you can go watch that. They underwent so much quarterback turnover. As I mentioned, they saw Trey Lance, their now former third overall pick from 2021. He went down 2 games in with the fractured ankle, and then in came in Jimmy Garoppolo. He played at least 10 games, I believe, after that. And then he went down with a ankle injury of his own, and then that forced Kyle Shanahan's hand, the head coach, to play his third string quarterback, who was the very last pick in the 2022 NFL draft, and that guy's name was Brock Purdy. So nobody knew how he's going to do, how well he was going to do, and to the surprise of many people, he did very well. He picked up the offense and led it very well, and he did very well, undefeated in 8 games, and they made it as far as the NFC Title game, where unfortunately in that game in Philadelphia, they both lost Brock Purdy, and they even lost 4th stringer Josh Johnson to injuries. Purdy hurting the most, obviously, because, he suffered an elbow injury in his throwing arm, and that would cost them a good chunk of half of the year. So they were pretty much quarterbackless against the Philadelphia Eagles, and another bad NFC title game loss. And a lot of questions and answers had to be solved in that offseason. Meanwhile, for the Pittsburgh Steelers, they were kind of in a transition period in that off season prior to the 2022 season. They were coming off the heels of the retirement of Ben Roethlisberger, their longtime quarterback, and they're transitioning into a period where they were having a new starting quarterback at least they initially didn't. They were eventually going to phase in their rookie quarterback, Kenny Pickett, from, Pittsburgh. So they initially started out with Mitch Trubisky, and, y'all know how that turned out. And then eventually they phased in Kenny Pickett, and then there were some mixed results along the way. But eventually, late in the season, they saw some flashes out of him, as well as their rookie receiver, George Pickens, both whom were key in that second half turnaround, along with some major players that were coming back from injury, including defensive end and linebacker TJ Watt from a midseason injury. And they almost once again made it to the playoffs, but just couldn't get that playoff spot in the end. But they managed to salvage another winning record for head coach Mike Tomlin, ending the season 9-8. So overall, the Steelers were okay, but you had to wonder, and when I talked about them, it's like, is this kind of their ceiling of where they are going to be post Ben Roethlisberger? I mean, are they good, but are they not good enough? That remains to be seen. But when I talked about the Steelers in the season preview for this coming season, it's like, man, they must have made some solid improvements, but let's see if they can be more than just good enough. So looking at the preseason for both of these teams, obviously for my 49ers, there was a lot of drama. There honestly was a lot of drama going into this preseason. During this preseason, obviously you had the quarterback competition, or so there was, between Brock Purdy, Trey Lance, and then you even bring in Sam Darnold for whatever reason. And then it turns out you bring in Sam Darnold because, well, it was a means as a way to get rid of Trey Lance, pretty much. So despite Trey Lance, having a solid preseason performance, he gets traded away. The Niners pretty much they just tell everyone, hey, we wasted 3 first-round picks in 2021, and now 2 years later, we're throwing away those 3 first-round picks. We're throwing away the guy that we traded 3rd overall, traded 9 spots up, and yeah, we're throwing him away to the Dallas Cowboys for a measly 4th overall pick. I mean, at least you got something in return, but it's like, damn, after 2 years, after 4, actually not even 4 starts, it's like 3.5 starts, or maybe 3.25. But damn, it's like you barely gave the kid a chance. I mean, yeah, injuries do happen, but it's like, damn, it's like Kyle Shanahan gave up on him. So it is what it is. It's just like, I just hope it doesn't backfire on them, because I guess, if something does happen to, I don't want to bring any karma, but it would have helped. I think it would have helped if Trey Lance stayed on the team, but I get where he's coming from. He wants another chance on another team, but it is what it is. So now we have Brock Purdy and Sam Darnold on the team. Brock Purdy, I mean, he looked solid in the reps that he got. He's still trying to get back from that elbow injury. He was going to always look rusty, but I mean, he looked pretty okay for the most part. Now let's see how he does in real-time action, fully recovered. Meanwhile, for the Steelers, like, man, they don't look like any joke. Man, their offensive line looks pretty stable. That Kenny Pickett, the George Pickens connection, still looked like it was back late in the season. The running game, it looks all right with Najee Harris and his backup. But the defense, man, they better watch out for that defense, including their rookie pick, Joey Porter Jr. He's looking pretty good out there. And yeah, that's not even with, I don't think TJ Watt even played in the preseason, but still, better watch out for that defense. So looking at the injury report for this week for both of these teams, they're coming in relatively healthy for the most part. No one has been ruled out as of right now, so expect mostly everyone to play unless, barring any setbacks during warm-ups on Sunday, everyone's expected to play. Everyone is definitely expected to play for this game. Unless, something happens. So for the 49ers, they were entering this whole week with a few minor nagging ailments. The 2 biggest ones being cornerback Charvarius Ward, who popped up in the injury report all of a sudden late in the week with a heel issue, but he's been ruled questionable, along with tight end George Kittle, who has been dealing with a groin injury all preseason, but he managed to get some limited reps in. So both of them are real questionable, but I think they're going to play, hopefully, because we need all the manpower we can get. And then another person that was dealing with injuries during the preseason was our rookie kicker, Jake Moody, who has been, a very mixed bag. But, I mean, he did get the game-winning field goal in that Week 2 win against Denver. It was Denver, right? I think so. After he suffered a right quad strain in the preseason, like well before warmups. So, oof. But the Niners did sign a veteran kicker in Matt Wright. In a case of emergency, break glass option, just in case Jake Moody's not ready to go on Sunday. So you always got to have your backup options ready. Meanwhile, for the Steelers, they're pretty relatively healthy for this game too. The only questionable mark on this team is Larry Ogunjobi, their defensive end. So he's coming into this game with a foot injury, but the Steelers saying you should be ready to go as well. So obviously for the 49ers, they're also having Nick Boza coming in with a big fat new contract. So 5 years, I think it's $170 million something dollars. They were going. There's like this ongoing story throughout training camp and preseason. Like, if Nick Boza, the whole story of contract, big fat contract. Where's the money? And turns out that Nick Boza is just like ready to go. He's just ready to go. It's like his agent holding him up. So it's good that they finally got the contract done, but it's just like, why did it have to take this long? But as long as he stays productive, then I don't see any problem with it. So looking at some of my players to watch on Sunday, if you're the 49ers, obviously linebacker TJ Watt, he's probably the biggest player to keep your eyes on if you're on the offensive line, because he's always a force on the edge. He's like that. He's like that guy that keeps everything together on that pass rush. Because look at the defense without TJ Watt. I keep mixing the brothers up. TJ Watt. He pretty much stabilizes and keeps the pass rush going. Just look at 2022. They were kind of there, but it's not as effective without TJ Watt helping you out. So, especially considering that you have a second-year starter in Colin McKivitz who has that tall task in trying to keep him at bay. So, TJ Watt is going to be a tall challenge for McKivitz at that right tackle spot. And then the running backs for both of these teams. You know, the run defense, pretty good for both teams last year, especially San Francisco. But that was last year. We're focused on this year. Both of the teams' backs, Christian McCaffrey, and especially San Francisco's running back room. Christian McCaffrey, Jordan Mason, Tyrion Davis-Price, and then Pittsburgh side, Najee Harris. This game could be dictated by how well the pace can be fast or slow, depending on how Tomlin and Shanahan use their running backs. And then my last player is Brock Purdy. This is going to be Brock Purdy's first real game since the NFC title game back in January, where he suffered that elbow injury. And there was like this little audio piece where safety Minkah Fitzpatrick toyed with the idea of, I'm going to guarantee I'm going to get an interception from Purdy on Sunday. Like, I can telegraph his plays. So we'll see what that happens. Whether that remains to be seen. But that's the first key to victory for the 49ers on Sunday. Brock Purdy can't and should not be getting erratic with the football. Because, there were times at points where he can get too loose with this throwing, too loose at decision making. So there were also like training camp reports where he threw like a lot of interceptions, like consistently on every practice. So I know that's practice, but sometimes practice can transition over to real-time games. So Brock Purdy has to be careful there. So Brock Purdy shouldn't be getting erratic with the football. Take care of it, make good decisions with it. And if you do, you should be fine. And then, like I said, right tackle, Cole McKivitz has to do well, whether it's against TJ Watt or somebody else on the edge. Yeah, I honestly, overall, this offensive line really has to do well against the Steelers pass rush. This is like a big task against them. So if you're the Steelers, though, if you're Kenny Pickett, if you're this whole offense, you should be attacking the secondary very often. Because if I looked at this Niners secondary group, especially at the cornerback spot, I honestly thought they were going to be at least a little bit better. But looking at the preseason, it's like, I know it's just a preseason. Maybe they'll be better, but they could really attack. The Steelers could really attack it with a lot of George Pickens, Pat Freiermuth, as well as maybe even Calvin Austin, and I hate to say it, even Allen Robinson. We all forgot about Allen Robinson, right? But yeah, there are a lot of places where the Steelers could potentially attack the 49ers secondary, whether it's in the deep ball or like in the middle if the Niners are not careful. And then, you can also create interior pressure to rattle Brock Purdy and affect his decision making. Just look at the interior defensive line, like Cam Hayward, their top defensive tackle, and linebacker Alex Highsmith. Sure, he plays on the edge, but you never know. They might move him inside. So this offensive line for the 49ers, they haven't been really fortified that much yet. They haven't really got a lot of reps together, like in real-time action, except for the preseason. But yeah, they're going to be really tested in the Steel City on Sunday. So looking at this game for the 49ers, it's the Steelers, but Mike Tomlin always has his team prepared, whether they have a slow start to the season and a good finish at the end, or a good vice versa, Mike Tomlin is one of those no nonsense bullshit coaches. So the Niners really have to be on their A game. I'm done with all these slow starts to the seasons. So the Niners really have to get get their bullshit together, pretty much. I want them to start fast and stay fast. I don't want Kyle Shanahan to get all conservative and just simply keep pace, find ways to score, and find Pittsburgh's weaknesses and all that. So you do that, you should be fine against the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday. And yeah, what do I predict the score will be? I don't know. I think the Niners and the Steelers will be in a back and forth affair. I think it will be closer than most people think, because these two. I think the Steelers could be a sleeper team than most people think, even though maybe not as competitive as maybe like the Ravens and the Browns, or maybe Ravens and the Bengals. Sorry, but this game could be a lot closer than you think. I have them edging out maybe like 24, 20, 21 or something, but we'll see. Anything can happen. Anything can happen in the NFL, but I do think the Niners pull out of Pittsburgh in a close game. So, let me know your thoughts on the 49ers and the Steelers in week 1 in the Steel City. And I'd like to know your filthy casual thoughts on who wins this game this coming Sunday. So anyway, that is it for this video. And I'll be back to recap this game. And whether the Niners win, the Niners lose, I'll always have something to talk about with this team in the most filthy casual way possible. Even if I don't know football all that much, I'll be here to talk about it. Damn it! Because I love it. Anyway, until next time, this is Dylan Lasagna of Very Cold Lasagna signing out. And peace out.